college football playoff system needs to change. No, the Central Florida Knights are not the college football national champions. They are not playing in Monday's championship game. Alabama and Georgia are. They were not in the 4-team college football playoff and, judging by their playoff rankings going into the bowl season, they were not even close to being considered at number 12. But UCF declared itself the national champion after being the only team to finish the season with an unblemished 13-0 record after besting Auburn, which beat the two title contenders this season, in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, 34-27. The Knights were not even in the conversation for the playoff, and at a minimum, they earned the right to be. Sure, UCF's strength of schedule was nowhere near the best, and it didn't play a ranked opponent until the American Athletic Conference title game against number 20 Memphis in November. But finishing with an undefeated record is nearly impossible for teams, whether they're in the AAC or SEC, and should be rewarded with more than a pat on the back. As the Knights call themselves the national champions, and raise a banner, have a parade and dish out bonuses as if they actually are, it's important to look at the bigger picture of their argument. What they're really trying to do is call attention to the fact that they were consistently overlooked because they are not a Power 5 team. Coach Scott Frost, who is taking over at Nebraska next season, explained after UCF's Peach Bowl win, "I was watching every week, the committee sitting in a room and decide this two-loss team must be better than UCF because UCF is in the American. Or this three-loss team must be better than UCF. It looked like a conscious effort to me to make sure that they didn't have a problem if they put us too high and a couple teams ahead of us lost. And oh, no, now we have to put them in a playoff. But we just beat a team that beat two playoff teams and lost to another one by 6 points and we beat them by 7. Whether it was a conscious effort or not, as an undefeated team, UCF undoubtedly should have been higher than number 12 in the rankings and in the playoff debate, especially when determining the fourth playoff team was such a mess this season. If the playoff lineup was blatantly obvious, never mind. But this year, figuring out that fourth spot was always going to leave at least one team and its fan base unhappy. That's what happens when you have a subjective championship system, regardless of what it's called. So instead of taking one-loss Alabama or considering two-loss Ohio State, or even one-loss Wisconsin or then three-loss Auburn, why not take a chance on an AAC team with a perfect record? Of course, had Clemson played UCF in the Sugar Bowl instead of Alabama, it's entirely possible the Tigers would have waltzed into the title game after their second straight massive shutout in the semi-final game. As a group, elite Power 5 teams are generally better than everyone else. And this is not to say a team outside of that category should get a coveted playoff spot every year. It doesn't even have to happen often. But when there were ample debates, valid arguments and expected controversy surrounding that fourth team, UCF deserved to at least be in the conversation. So for now, the Knights are calling themselves the national champions, and it's not offensive or disrespectful. It's their consolation prize for being, maybe consciously, an overlooked AAC team, and they're certainly not the first ones to claim it. More, Iman Shumpert says that, in general, Cavs players are all pretty cheap. LaMelo and LiAngelo Ball's Lithuania jerseys are on sale at Amazon for a big baller price. Lane Kiffin has excellent advice for what to do when Nick Saban screams at you. Jay Bilas calls out referee who turned his back on UNC star Joel Berry-Terrell and slams unprofessional production after shocking MTV Challenge exit.